So you're selling marijuana, and marijuana is, is a good business, but it's not on the level of a cocaine or a heroin.
No, it's not on cocaine or heroin, but back then you got to remember, man, I was a little teenage kid. I was still in school, right? And the money that I started making at the time, at my age, was a lot of money back then because I ended up putting together a crew. When I say crew, what I did was I would get some my partners who wanted to make some money, and I would give them $100 worth of marijuana, and I tell them they can take $20 and give me $80. So I had 4 or 5 of these guys on the block moving marijuana for me at that age. And then I was smart, so I was stacking my money. I was saving my money and hiding it from my parents. Because my parents told me that I had to go to school, I better graduate. So I stuck to that. So I had to work that out where I can hustle and still go to school.
So 14, 15, you were just doing marijuana?
Yes.
Okay. At what point did you graduate to cocaine and heroin?
I never saw heroin a day in my life,
Okay.
right? So what happened was I had a close friend of mine, and he approached me one day. And he said, hey, man, my mom just moved in this apartment building, and these people is up here selling these little white rocks, right? So I said, what is it? He said, they call it crack. I said, how much they paying for it? He said, they paying $20 for these little rocks, right? So I said to him, what are you doing? He said, man, I want to invest into it. Would you give me $160? I'm going to get a 16th of cocaine, 1/16, $160, right? At the time, I'm having money, so $160 to me is nothing. I give him $160. He goes up and he tells me it's going to move like this. He came back to me in a couple hours and told me it was gone. And I couldn't believe this, right? He said, man, you got to come up here and see this, man. I ain't never seen people coming for this stuff the way they coming for these little rocks, man. The women, the men. So I came up here, which is right down the street from where I'm at now, and I saw these people lined up coming to get these little rocks. So I said to him, well, go ahead and keep doing it, man. Just go ahead and keep doing it. We're going to build on it, right? So what happened is, within a month and a half, we started making so much money from these rocks, I didn't want to sell marijuana no more. So I went to the guys where I was selling marijuana, and now, and mind you, at the time, I was getting about $5,000 or $7,000 a day in nickel bags of weed. Like, that's a lot of weed back then in nickel bags a day for a young kid, right? I told them guys, y'all can have that weed over there, because when I seen what was happening with them rocks, because I love math, I was doing numbers in my head. I said, I'm gonna be a millionaire. So I gave them the weed turf and focused strictly on MacArthur Boulevard, right here where I'm at right now, in an apartment building about 5 blocks from here. And the next thing you know, I was getting $10,000, $15,000 a day selling rock cocaine, and I'm in high school. So that was when I first got involved in selling rocks, right? And it grew from there. But a lot of people think that Felix gave me something and put me in a position. I put myself in that position from a 16th of cocaine back then, you know? And at the time I was young, I never thought about what it was doing in my community, you know what I mean? Because I was a young kid, you know? And I just thought I was doing what everybody else was doing, trying to find a better way to change my life and change my family life, you know? And I didn't realize at the time that I was doing more harm to my community, you know, which a lot of young guys at the time, they wasn't thinking about that, man. We was just trying to find a way to get us some money, man, you know?
Up until the point that you was doing weed, we're still selling weed. I mean, it's still an illegal operation, and you had a big operation with a lot of different people. Were the police or the feds coming in and busting any of these guys, or were you kind of staying under the radar during that time?
At the time, it wasn't a lot of violence involved with selling weed, you know? And for the most part, when it ain't a lot of violence involved with that type of activity, police is not really going, it's not going to be a problem unless you bring attention to yourself or what you're doing. And what I was doing at the time is being cautious about what I was doing and how I was going about doing it, you know. But once I got to a certain point in my hustling, you know, the streets is going to tell the police what you're doing anyway. So they became aware that I was a marijuana dealer, you know. And some of the police officers didn't approach me about being a marijuana dealer, but of course I'm going to deny it and tell them I don't know what you're talking about. But, you know, the streets then already told to them, this is the guy with all the marijuana up here on Seminary in Elizabeth and Seminary in East 14th.